Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the DUO-LOGUE. This is episode 9. Hi, Chris.
Right, boy, we got a action-packed show for you today.
Well, this is episode number 9, and today's topic is having a better life.
You can read into that all sorts of things, can't you? Because it's very vague. Actually.
As it happened, today Chris was having a morning
Mm-hmm.
and he came up with these ideas in his thinking time. So now he's going to share with us what he was thinking about.
Not just
Ready, Chris?
me. We're going to, as in every good duologue, we bounce off each other. So,
Most of the times I listen.
well, you're funneling the inspiration. So, but anyway, living a better life. What is it? Having a better life? What does that mean exactly? Well, yeah, for most people in this day and age, unless they've hit really bad times, having a better life would mean having more money. That's how people respond to it. I mean, having a better life, we're going to cover all of these different areas, but making having more money means we can do more things, which means we can enjoy our life better and we can have more possessions, have a better car, live in a nice house, and then fill it up with lovely things. That, in essence, is what for many people means changing jobs or starting a business or having a new girlfriend, having a new boyfriend. It could be anything, but generally, when you break it down to the bare bones, more money facilitates it, makes it possible to go out and meet people, for example, makes it possible to be in places where you're likely to make business ideas happen or yeah. So it all comes down, as plain as it is, to more money, really. If you're focused in that way about materialism or impressing your peers because you've now got a better job or you're getting more money, slips into top gear, and you, you start to want trappings. I used to know a guy, and he was in insurance business and insuring more and more things. He'd insure oil tankers, he'd insure planes, had a big house, big spread of land. He was training racehorses and all sorts of things, and he had a very nice life on that scale. And most people would probably agree with that, but it's not be all and end all if your focus is on money. And I suppose with my parents, I used to ask my dad, I used to say to him, how come you've never moved? How come you just, this house is well affordable for you now. There's spare money. Why don't you move into a better house and a bigger house? And I suppose it was my ego saying, why are we living still in this 3-bedroom semi when we could be in a 4-bedroom or detached? And my dad said, well, I like my life. I'm happy. And I can exist and live within the confines of this amount of money. And I've got a job which I can do and I know about, and I've all my colleagues and I have my workplace, and he was content. And how many people can say that now? He got a lifestyle he wanted. I said to him, why don't you pay off your mortgage? Because I started to know the finances at the end of his life. Why don't you just pay off your mortgage? Because it's easily, it's nothing. You can just pay it off. Why? He said, why? Why should I pay it off? Why should I let them have the money? £9 a month. Why should he pay off? Why should he pay off? Why should he take out another loan? As far as he was concerned, borrowing money was a no-go. He didn't want to be borrowing money. And the fact that this little bit of money that he had was like a rate of interest that was way below anything he could borrow now. It was like, well, I might as well borrow some money to buy an armchair and leave this running because this interest rates are like 2.25% or something, and it's less than I could borrow any money. So I'd rather spend my money in other ways. It got to this point, and his life was cool. But it's not always like that. So one of the ways that you can improve what your expectations are. So the next one is to set yourself up to expect less. And what I mean by that is that if your expectations are this grandiose thing and you are unable to fulfill them, then you are going to be constantly disappointed with your life and comparing yourself to others and falling short. And consequently, why are you doing that to yourself? What's the point?
But there is a little caveat in this. Expect less. We're not saying people should not be having any dreams or they shouldn't have any aspirations for their success. We are saying you need to we need to learn to appreciate what we have and be grateful for whatever comes our way and not be worried or anxious and self-criticizing when things don't go exactly how you want them to. So this is what we mean by expect less. We're not thinking, no, 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 you don't want to have lots of money. Maybe you do.
But at this time in the world, when we are looking like we're going into recession in the States, where this whole tariff thing with Trump is beginning to have a big impact on the world. And I mean, like simple things like the Chinese shippers have, and people who are shipping goods to the States, they're shipping for Christmas. That's what they're doing now because people are ordering for Christmas. Now, with those tariffs, any goods arriving now are going to be subject to a tariff of like 150%. So anybody ordering is likely to have to pay that. And it's not the shops that are going to have to pay this. It's the people. And because the price is going to be a lot higher, then the expectation of sales is going to be a lot lower. They're cancelling their orders, and the Chinese are not booking ships. And if they're not, so what happens then is that if at some point in the future tariffs disappear, what do you think is going to happen to all these bookings for these ships? They're going to go through the roof, and there aren't going to be enough available. So the shipping costs are going to be twice as much. So the price is going to be uplifted,
Maintained
because the
as a
shipping
high
costs.
level again.
Yeah. So it's just these things, they have a massive impact on global commerce. And right now, the expectation is we're just going to carry on as normal, but it's not. You can't, because things are in the wrong places, and not enough of them now because of all these cancellations. So on the one hand, people have got ships and nothing to put in them, and later on, there's going to be loads of goods required to be shipped and no ships to ship them on. And so, like, just for Christmas, if your expectations is to increase the volume of Christmas presents or do this and do that, you have to probably consider your ability to do this, because the things might not be how you thought they would be. So that's what I mean by reducing expectations. No harm in having plans, like you say, for the future, but at least be happy and content that you can meet your obligations without increasing your debt.
It's in a way being more realistic about what is possible and
At
not having too much attachment,
yeah.
to the outcome and the goal and the idea that we have in our head that this is how it should be so I can have a better life.
Well, marketing as a concept, all these products marketed to you on Google, market you all over the place, they're feeding this money engine animal. And everybody is constantly, oh, look, there's a better iPhone now. Oh, there's a better this. Oh, there's a better that. And must have, must have, must have. You won't be good enough unless you have the new thing. And consequently, people are just having that reinforced every single time. And what do you expect? Your expectations are, I've got to get the new one, so I'm working hard to get the new thing. I'm working hard to go to that new resort that I like. I've got to have a holiday because you got to have 3 holidays a year, otherwise you're not a cool dude. What? Who said 3 holidays a year? No, the interesting thing about holidays, right, is people used to say, "Oh, are you getting away in the summer?" Getting away from what? Is there some disease coming or some animal?
It's the way we use words. Getting away from your job because they don't like it.
Exactly. what you're doing is saying, I want a holiday from my life. What?
From my current state of my life, so I can have a holiday, so I can have a better life and I can relax and be happy. But then it finishes and then you move on again.
Yeah, but like it lasts 2 weeks, and then if you're running your own business, you come back and you've had to work like stink for 2 weeks before you went away. You went away, and then when you get back, you've got to work like stink for 2 weeks because you've been away. Anybody that's running their own business will know what I'm talking about here. If you are running your own business, it's probably rarely that you get away for 2 weeks. A better way of living is to say, well, I've got to work towards the situation where I don't feel like I've got to get away for 2 weeks because I'm enjoying my life exactly where I am. And that is really what I'm talking about here. Is people say to me, oh, you're getting away. Getting away from what? Is there something scary I don't know about? I'm not getting away from anything. Oh, where are you going for your holidays? Yeah, you're going somewhere nice. No, I'm not going somewhere horrible. That's where I always go from.
But if we go back to the olden days, how the holidays idea came to be was from the Industrial Revolution time, when people were very tired all day long working, maybe not even a day off. That's the time when trains were invented. And so it was easy to go to the seaside, for example, and have a day off or to have a few days off. And then they started to learn that the fresh air of the sea water and, all that new climate is good for their health. So that was how the idea of holiday appeared. So it was health. It was looking after the welfare of the workers. Nowadays, the holiday is more like a status than the welfare of the workers.
If you learn to expect less, a period in human existence that we've messed up so much with all this fiat currency and Ponzi schemes that we're going to go through some pretty tough times before we come through the other side. The other side's going to be great, but we've got to get through a lot of this. It's a bit like the Shawshank Redemption, where we had to crawl through a tunnel of shit so you could get out the other end. We're basically going through this process, and that means tightening your belt, and it's made easier. This is what I'm saying. This tightening your belt, not having so much, is made easier if you change your perspective. And that's coming on to the third thing, which is changing your perspective, which is saying, actually, I should be grateful for everything I have, and focusing on what you have as opposed to what you don't have. And actually, that's the perspective change. Everything I have right now, I'm eternally grateful for. You're not entitled to anything. What comes your way, actually, you may feel is because of your hard work and your skills and everything else. But to some element, that's true, and that's a thought process that was delivered upon, but it could easily be taken away at the next instance. So, if you're a table tennis player and you're earning your living from being like the top table tennis player in the world, it only takes a car crash to take all that away. To have done this internal work is really crucial, because whatever you have, you're not entitled to it. This comes on to having respect for everything, because once you get into this where I'm not entitled to anything, what I have, I should be grateful for, extremely grateful. It then comes down to having respect for everything, because even if something you're not using it now, it's not providing you with a service, then it could be just chucked in the skip, or you could find an alternative use for it, reuse it, recycle it, or find someone that could use it and find value in it, because the actual thing is not just to be discarded as if it were a nothing, because everything in this world comes from something. Some resources, somebody put it together, somebody marketed it, someone sold it, someone delivered it. It's like all those resources were put into that thing that's in front of you, and you're just no respect, chucking it away as if it was completely useless. Buddhism, for example, this is a real thing. Like nothing is wasted, because the way to waste something is to have no respect for it. And if you've got no respect for one thing, what you do for one thing,
You should do for everything.
you do for everything. But if you fix this, you fix it for everything. Once you've got this sorted out, then you kind of move through life with ease.
And grace.
And grace, yeah. Because nothing is pressurizing you and you're not pressurizing other things. Life becomes relatively easy. Okay, you've got to have something coming in money-wise. Okay, that's just the times we live in. But it's like setting the expectation commensurate with your existence and what you're doing. And if you can't sustain yourself in some way, then either you need to do another thing or you need to reduce what needs to be sustained.
So we go round into a circle again. So get more money or reduce your expenses or change your perspective.
You're fine-tuning it all the time as you grow as an individual and take your place in this world in whichever shape or form that comes. Each of these things is an iteration. It is an iteration, and it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget when people are thrusting things in front of you and telling you how wonderful they've got this and they've got that and it's amazing, and they're on holiday for the 5th time this year and you're kind of jealous and stuff. But maybe they've got a life where they've got to get away. What kind of life is that? Thankfully, we constructed a life where we don't. There's no rush to get away from it. There's no panic because we're having a crap time here. We're filling nowadays with things we enjoy doing, and when there's time available, we can turn our attention to things that are elsewhere and need our attention. But they're fun things anyway. Because these are the things we've elected to do. But it's not because I've got to get away. I can't stand this anymore. I'm tired. That isn't part of the assessment. This has been an interesting topic. It becomes a lifestyle choice at the end of the day. And it's not about, look, I'm not earning enough money. I'm going to be thought of as a loser. Who by? Who?
Well, it all comes back to the point where we're comparing to other people. We think we're not good enough. It's all of this mental chatter that's constantly on the background. Well, do let us know what you think. What is your opinion about having a better life? Tell us in the comments. And please do subscribe. Hit the bell button. It will tell you when we've uploaded the next duologue, which will be number 10. Thank you for watching. Any finishing words, Chris, or have we exhausted this topic?
Well, I just think that this has happened to me over the last 20, 30 years. It's not something that you can just make. You can say, I want to expect less, blah, blah, blah. It's not as easy as that. You can't just say, right, I'm going up this morning, right, expect less, right, I'm going to tick that one. That's what I want. Because actually, it takes...
Completed, I've done that.
It takes a hell of a lot of work. Because expecting less is not being jealous when someone sticks something in front of you that you want. It's being happy for them. It's like, it's not, what are they going to think of me if they know I've lost my job? Like, I'm a loser. Not having that thought and being able to hold your head up high because nothing's changed. You're still the same person as you were beforehand.
You only just took a little more responsibility for what makes you happy and improving your life. Unfortunately,
things like funerals bring it home when you're not going to see someone again. Everything that they had is here still and they're not. You can't take it with you. They are situations, and I think they happen in our life because we need to be reminded of what's important. and this is part of that evolution, I think, for people. But anyway, I think it's time to expect less. You can't be happy if you've got huge demands and you can't get them fulfilled, and those demands remain. You can't be happy because you're always going to feel resentment, lacking, failure, no self-love. It comes down to self-love at the end of the day. Anyway, that's it.
Lovely.
Bye
Thank
for
you
now.
for watching, guys.
And
Bye
see you
from
next
us.
time.
Do subscribe.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye bye.